So this is my first EUC video. I didn't know exactly what I was going to record. I recently got a 360 camera and I just wanted to kind of go on a little typical adventure and just record myself. It's nice to see, how I ride. So this is the Leaperkim Lynx, the 50E version. I actually ordered this wheel the second it was available in the UK and got it air shipped just so I could, ride it. Now we're finally getting some dry-ish days where I am. It's not exactly dry. There was rain the day before this, and the day before that, and the day before that. So it's actually pretty wet off-road. Nonetheless, that's where I'm off to a spot somewhat near where I live, which has a nice little bit of trails. Unfortunately, it's normally wet when it's rained recently, but I wanted to see how bad it was, so I'm just off to see what it's like. So the first half of this video is essentially just me on the street, a bunch of cycle paths and pathways. I generally try to avoid the roads where possible, and essentially just get out to where my spot is and then just go around a little bit. Now what I can see from watching myself is the kind of goofy style I kind of have. You see how my left leg is kind of barely attached to the wheel. It kind of just floats around. My right leg does all of the main acceleration and deceleration, unless I'm going for a hard acceleration or a hard acceleration. For the most part, my left leg is kind of just there because it has to be. It kind of does make me feel good because it means if I was ever to get into a serious crash and get my left leg amputated, I could probably still ride my unicycle with a prosthetic leg. Downside, if I lose my right leg, I'm basically screwed. So I probably need to get a bit better with using my left leg the same way I use my right leg. But I've always found, since I started getting decent at riding anyway, that allowing the wheel to kind of float between your legs is kind of the best way. You'll get a bunch of wobbles, and you see it in the video, you see the wheel wobble a little bit, but the wheel itself wants to kind of be straight. It's normally your own inputs which kind of throw those wobbles into actual, death wobbles, the kind of wobbles that would cause you to crash. If you can kind of just hover over the wheel, and be light on your feet, light with your inputs, it will kind of line up. So my riding style's kind of adapted to that. I don't really fight the wheel when it wobbles, I kind of let it happen, and it'll do that quite a lot. But trust me, okay, it feels very safe when I'm on the wheel. I'm used to it at this point. So before the Lynx, I still have the Kingsong S22. I've got the Pro motor in there, and that's where I kind of started doing jumps and more serious off-road. And then before that, I had the Nikola Plus as well as the S18. The S18 being my first wheel, a very anemic wheel, good wheel to start on, but not, it doesn't really put a candle to these other ones. But I'm really happy with the Lynx. It's got the range. The range beats out the S22, so I can go on longer adventures. By the time I'm kind of hitting 40% or so, the point where you get into the less so fun battery percentage, which probably would be made better if I had the 50Ss. But regardless, I kind of get tired, kind of get hot and bothered by the time this wheel's kind of ready to give up anyway. I really like the power. The acceleration isn't quite there with the pattern from what I felt. I've got a friend with a pattern, and off the line, we're kind of evenly matched. So I'd like it to kind of be a bit stronger, but compared to the S22, it is night and day. Like this blows the S22 out of the water. Top speed, acceleration, just general torque, climbing up hills and things like that. Now, it's not the most stable wheel. The S22 is like a brick, like you could kind of just, you could get hit by anything, right? Quite literally a brick could probably hit you and you wouldn't go into wobbles or anything. A combination of the lower pedals as well as the wider tyre, I believe, as well as the stock tyre basically just being a flat line, kind of no curve whatsoever. So kind of a wide contact patch. This Lynx is more agile, so it takes a bit more to get used to. But when you get used to it, it's very good, relatively heavy compared to the S22, but again you can still throw it around. You can see this here, that little jump through that little gateway, or what you want to call that arch. You can throw this wheel around, you kind of just have to get used to it. So what I like seeing with the 360 camera is I like being able to see how far, and again these wobbles, because you feel it, but you don't see it without it, so it's nice to actually see what it looks like. Also, I'd like to just touch on some general etiquette, not necessarily EUC etiquette, but just sharing paths. When you're on a powered vehicle, okay, compared to people who are walking or pedaling, their cycles, it's easier generally for you to just get out of the way. Sometimes you see on YouTube a lot of people kind of have a big ego, like, oh, I was going really fast, I had to slow down.
It's been pretty rainy the last few days. I'm expecting this to be pretty wet. At the top of the hill where we are now. Yeah, you can already see. Yeah, not the best. Yeah, this is not a sign of good things to come.
So I've just kind of switched the clip over to when I actually get to the woods, and as I just narrated there, it is wet, okay, like it's not ideal. I kind of expected this. I wanted to see what it was like, so I'm kind of heading down here at the moment into the depth of this little wood, to kind of just see what it's like. But by etiquette, you see here, for example, right, you've got these two cyclists coming down, they're coming downhill. I can just easily stop, just wait a couple of seconds, make sure there's no more coming down, because you can kind of anticipate that when you have a group of people that could be, so don't just be stupid, just give it a second. So I'm heading up the same hill that they just came down. Kind of the elevation and gradient of where you're riding isn't really shown to on the 360 camera, but it's relatively decent up there. I would say maybe 20 degrees or so. And then coming down here, we've got another example of the etiquette, okay? Dogs. Okay, you're in a woodland, okay? Expect dogs, expect dog walkers. Don't go blitzing through them, okay? Like, if you guys have ever interacted with dogs, okay, 9 out of 10 times, they're pretty friendly. You just kind of have to not be an idiot. So here I stopped, just kind of let the dogs do their thing, wait until they're kind of, no longer interested in me before I go off. I don't want a dog chasing me up the hill. I don't want this, paw getting stuck in my rim or something like that. So just let the dog sniff me out.
Thank you.
He gets bored eventually. The owners eventually manage to get it back, and then off you go. But the key thing there is looking back, right? A lot of riders will just kind of keep going, not even look behind them. It's got you've just passed some dogs, the chances are high that one of them at least is going to follow you. So you just keep heading through this wet and disgusting woodland. A lot of times here where the wheel kind of just slips to the side a little bit, you can feel it really pronounced when you're actually on the wheel. It is fun, not gonna lie, but at the same time you wish it was dry, just because a lot of these spots you can go a lot faster. The visibility ahead is, I should have probably shown ahead of where I am, but you can kind of tell by the fact that behind me is just a straight line. It's kind of a lot of visibility, but when it's wet like this you can't go fast because there's a lot of small movements you have to make, and when you're in the wet at speed, a small movement is just an instant slip. Now, I do have a bit further up where I jump over a log, and you kind of see there where the wet really matters. But this is a nice shot, I guess, just to see how bad the mud was there. In a lot of places, you see there to the left where it's quite literally a puddle, quite a large puddle, right? Like it's not dry, not dry by the slightest of measurements. I think I'm just going to shut up now and let the rest of the video play, but thanks for watching this video. I'm going to record a bunch more, I'm not sure exactly when, but I will, because I enjoy riding, and the 360 camera is a nice thing to do. I'm going to be at Bugs Boarding actually, so that's going to be a video, maybe a couple of videos. Hopefully I'll get to see Wrong Way and a bunch of other crazy, stupid EUC riders willing to throw their bodies in harm's way just for a bit of fun. But yeah, leave a comment, let me know what you ride. If you're in the area I am, it's kind of Hertfordshire, there's a few of us that go out riding, only a couple of us do the off-road kind of stuff, but if you like off-road, let me know and we can do something. See ya.
So I just going down there.